Hello and welcome to the Ninqueso Exploring Japan channel, where I am on a journey to discover everything I can about Japan, the people, the culture, and today, the best theme park rides. Yes, we are going to be looking at 10 of the best crazy Japanese roller coasters, not just sane ones, but the crazy ones. Now, I do love me a good theme park. It's been a long time since I've been to one though, because 2020 happened and I've still not been to one since. But in the UK, we've only really, in my humble opinion, there's only really a couple of good theme parks, and that's like Alton Towers and Thorpe Park. And now I know some other people might be saying, what about the other ones? I can't even think of what they are. That's how unrememberable they were. But anyway, that is here in the UK. I want to find out what these rides are like over in Japan. So let us find out what the 10 best crazy... I don't know if these are the best, but the 10 craziest Japanese roller coasters actually are. Let me get my headphones. Why am I not wearing my headphones? Right, I've got my headphones. Now I can hear what's going to happen. Let's go.
Slope shooter at the Higashiyama Zoo.
Ooh,
this is by far one of the most unusual roller coasters.
I've been on something similar to that. It was at Parc Asterix in France, where you're like, it's not actually on a track. You kind of almost like bobsleigh down. It's quite scary.
On Earth. Located at the Higashiyama Zoo and Botanical Gardens, this is one of Japan's oldest roller coasters, dating all the way back to 1961. After ascending an initial chain lift, riders are sent down the side of a hill, with several switchback turns. Unlike most coasters still operating, this one is officially classified as a side friction coaster. Side friction coasters don't have wheels under the track, and instead use wheels on the side to maneuver the ride's switchback turns. While the sides of the track are steel, certain sections of the bottom are actually made from concrete. As such, much of the track resembles a roadway, and one can't help but compare.
That looks quite interesting to go on. It doesn't look like one of the really high adrenaline ones, but it may be scary for a different reason, just in thinking I'm gonna die.
Compared to San Francisco's famous Lombard Street with its winding downhill turns. In addition, its colorful and quirky ride vehicles make it look like something straight out of a Dr. Seuss book. It may not be nearly as intense as Japan's other coasters, but its one-of-a-kind experience makes it more than worth
that
your
is
time.
quite
Number
strange.
9, Adventure Drive at Suzuka Circuit Motopia. You wouldn't normally expect a family coaster to have a launch, but one coaster at Suzuka Circuit Motopia is sure to defy such expectations.
Oh, launch roller coasters. I do like a launch roller coaster. Rita at Alton Towers is good. I liked that one.
Street from Honda's world-famous Suzuka Circuit racetrack is Motopia. This family theme park is geared for young children and features all sorts of vehicle-themed attractions like go-karts, junior motorbikes, and a launch coaster named Adventure Drive. On this coaster, passengers board Jeep-like ride vehicles.
I think I'd give this one a miss, to be fair, because there's not really much else there for me.
And are set on an off-road adventure through a mystical forest. While it seems like an ordinary family coaster on the surface, this ride has a unique, one-of-a-kind launch system you won't find anywhere else. Approaching what's referred to as a power ring in the ride's storyline, riders are instructed to shout "power" to launch forward.
Power! And then you get shot forward. I imagine it's not going to be like the fastest launch coaster there ever was.
As loud as they can. The ride's cable launch system is hooked up to a recording device. The louder riders shout, the faster the launch is.
Okay, that is quite unique. So if no one said anything, you just wouldn't move. You'd be stuck there forever.
Of course, the vehicles will still launch without shouting, but if you want to hit that desired top speed, you'll have to scream as loud as you
What is the top speed though? We need to know these things.
It is the world's only noise-powered launch, and it's a wonder why we don't see more of these. It's a charming concept, and it's bound to appeal to young enthusiasts looking to ride their first launch coaster. Number 8. Gekion Live at Tokyo Joyopolis. Forget virtual reality. That looks nice. This coaster is a flat-out
16'4", 23.6 miles per hour. Is that top speed or average speed, do you think? I don't really know. One loop.
Interactive video game experience. Located at Indoor Amusement Park and Arcade Tokyo Joyopolis, this is perhaps the most sought-after indoor spinning coaster on Earth.
Okay, that looks quite fun.
As Veil of Dark, this coaster was once a
Much later.
Right, let's hope that motorbike can stop revving its engine.
Shooting dark ride with controllers mounted to the restraints. Besides this feature though, this ride was an extremely revolutionary spinning coaster experience when it first opened. Not only was it the first launch spinning coaster, but it was also the first to feature an inversion, an inline twist to be exact. In 2016, the coaster's shooting dark ride feature was replaced with an all-new rhythm game. The current ride...
Oh, why? I want the shooting feature, not the rhythm game.
Experience goes as followed. Riders are given 3 buttons on their over-the-shoulder restraints. At the ride start, the vehicles stop by screens displaying the game. The goal of the game is to press the right button at the right time to the rhythm of the music. Much like Guitar Hero and Parappa the Rapper, the music itself is always changing to keep the ride fresh, and the ride has been themed to several...
I don't really understand the point of that. I can understand the point more of like shooting at things, but you know, what happens if you just don't bother to play? Can you just enjoy the ride without playing the rhythm game? Because I'm not very good at rhythm games.
Japanese media franchises like Evangelion and Hatsune Miku. After a few rounds of this game, the vehicles go through a tire launch, sending them through winding turns and its signature inline twist. At the end of the ride, each passenger is graded on their score, allowing for some friendly competition. And since the ride is indoors, you don't have to worry about rain shutting it down. Number 7, Diving Coaster Vanish at
that
Yokohama
looks nice.
Cosmo
Yes,
World.
I've seen this one before. I have seen this one before because I did try and do a theme park video before, but you know, silly boy here didn't save the audio properly, so that video was abandoned. But yeah, this one was sort of shown at the park, and it looks quite good.
This coaster from several clickbait video thumbnails. Though the claims of it being dangerous or deadly are undoubtedly false, the coaster itself is real, and it has one of the most inventive and revolutionary coaster tunnels on Earth. This pink coaster starts off with 2 small drops before the ride's main feature. This larger drop takes...
Oh, that's a very pink coaster. It's nice.
Riders into a world-famous underwater tunnel. Although riders will stay completely dry, the water jets at the start of the tunnel give the illusion that the train is actually...
Yeah, it's arcing out, isn't it? It's not going in. Ah, well.
diving underwater. It's a photogenic, creative, and aesthetically satisfying ride element that makes the coaster arguably more fun to...
I was about to say, he's obviously about to say what I'm about to say. I can imagine it's much more visually appealing to people watching it than when you're on it. Because especially if you're sat at the front of that coaster, you're not even going to notice that at all. And it's like, even if you're at the back, it's going to be so fast
to watch than it is to ride. After the tunnel is a forceful double helix with the layout ending shortly afterwards. So while it's a pretty short ride, its tunnel alone makes it a standout attraction.
Yeah, and I would do that one. I would definitely do this one.
Its influence is clear to see by the upcoming Yukon Striker at Canada's Wonderland. Number 6, Ultra Twister at the Rusutsu Resort.
Ultra Twister. Any ride that's got the word Ultra in it's got to be good.
High-intensity roller coaster that takes up as little space as possible.
Yes.
Say hello to the Togo Ultra Twister, a bizarre, compact attraction that surrounds passengers in a twisting, tubular pipeline of steel track. The one used to exist at Six Flags Great Adventure, these coasters are now exclusive to Japan, with only 4 still in operation. While Togo has a reputation for rough rides in the United States, the Ultra Twister is said to be glossy smooth. However, out of these 4 coasters, only one of them features a different layout. This one can be found at the Rusutsu Resort in northern Japan.
Make a note of that.
This Ultra Twister is the only...
I think I like it because it's like I've never been on anything remotely like that before. And it'd be nice to experience.
One ever to feature a dive loop. While other Ultra Twisters reverse the vehicle's direction halfway through the course, this ride twists passengers under the track before sending them back to the station still facing forwards. Of course, this dive loop is in addition to the ride's 3 Heartline rolls, giving it more inversions than any other Ultra Twister. It may not be that long, but...
I was about to say that. It doesn't look like a particularly long ride, but then it's quicker queuing time, isn't it?
This small...
And we know you need to queue in Japan.
Coaster packs a strong and memorable punch.
I like
Number 5, Thunder Dolphin at...
The name alone has got me, Thunder Dolphin.
Tokyo Dome City. This intimate mega coaster is in quite a crazy location.
That's
in fact,
high.
It's located right in the middle of the world's...
See, the weird thing is, I absolutely hate heights, but I love roller coasters. It's just that going up. I just have to like fixate out and not, you know, at the track going up. I can't look left and right. But while I'm on it, it's fine. But put me on like a Ferris wheel. God, no. No. Cable cars, no.
Busiest city. Surrounded by a sea of glass and concrete, Thunderdolphin stands at a staggering 262 feet above the ground.
That is really high.
Passengers are given truly astounding...
Is it on top of buildings? It goes over the top of buildings as well, doesn't it? If I remember rightly. I think I've seen this one before.
Views of the city as they traverse the course at over 80 miles per hour. Not only do the trains soar past busy streets and skyscrapers, but they even manage to go through a building in a massive centerless Ferris wheel. The scenery and setting in general emphasize the ride's height, and even those not afraid of heights may be intimidated by the experience. Now you may notice that the track is surrounded by netting in some of the newer footage here.
I'm guessing that's to stop things falling on people's heads that are below them.
No, this is not to catch passengers as they fall out. This netting was actually installed after an incident where a 9-year-old guest was struck in the head by a 10-inch bolt that fell from the ride.
Ow.
The coaster was actually closed down for over 2 years because of this, but has since...
Okay, now I'm a bit more hesitant.
operated without incident. If you want to check out the surreal city-flying thrills of this attraction, Thunderdolphin is a can't-miss ride. Or Takabisha at Fuji-Q Highland. Built by German manufacturer Gerstlauer,
okay, this is nice.
Packs quite a few memorable elements into its relatively tight layout. This is a Eurofighter model that has both a 62-mile-per-hour launch and a vertical
nice
lift hill. It also manages to pack in 7 inversions, including the world's only banana roll element. This twice inverting element
well, there you go, banana roll. I'm there. I am there.
In particular gets its name from its quirky banana shape from a certain angle. But by far the most notable thing about this coaster is its main drop.
That's like Saw at Thorpe Park. It has an inverted drop. It looks a lot worse than what it is. When you're on it, it doesn't really... You don't really notice it that much, I don't think.
After the vertical lift, riders will undergo a 121-degree drop that folds passengers under the track as they gain in speed. The resulting experience combines the stomach-lifting sensation of a drop with the out-of-your-seat airtime as it crests over the sideways hill. For 7 years, Takabisha has been thrilling guests with its unique layout. In fact, it's become so popular that a couple
people get married on it. Oh, only one couple have ever got married on it.
Celebrated their wedding on it. The park even fitted the coaster with white satin restraints. Now that's pretty cool. For those of you Americans who can't make the trip to
what about the rest of the world? Yeah?
Japan, you're in luck. Next year, a near exact
don't care. Don't care, that's America.
clone of Takabisha will be opening at New Jersey's Nickelodeon Universe. This one is said to be even steeper than Takabisha, though reportedly only by half a degree. This is proof of how influential and popular Takabisha is, and don't be surprised if we
can we get back to Japanese rides now, please, Mr. American?
See more coasters like it opening around the world. Number 3, Moonsault Scramble, also at Fuji-Q Highland, though no longer in operation.
Okay. Oh... Why put it on the list then if it's not operating?
This coaster will be forever remembered by how flat out insane it was. Despite its short shuttle coaster
disappointed
layout,
now
Scramble
that this is like
one of the most
showing us something that I can never go on because it doesn't exist.
Astronauts typically experience a G-force of 3 Gs during a space shuttle takeoff. 3 Gs is akin to 3 times the force of gravity. Moonsault Scramble, on the other hand, had a reported G-force of 6.2 Gs.
That's
this
a lot.
made it one of only 2 roller coasters ever built to surpass the 6G mark, with the other one being the still operating Tower of Terror at South Africa's Gold Reef City. These forces were exerted at the bottom of Moonsault's pretzel knot, a first of its kind inversion that resembles a giant pretzel. Another notable thing about this coaster was its height. From a structural standpoint, it was the first coaster to be over 200 feet tall, though since it isn't a full circuit, many enthusiasts don't consider it to be the first hypercoaster ever made. That honor still goes to Magnum XL 200 at Cedar Point. Moonsault Scramble was also the only roller coaster in history to have an ice skating rink around it. Unfortunately, after 17 years of operation, Moonsault Scramble was permanently closed and sent to the scrapyard in 2000.
Was there a reason that it was closed, or was it just because it was getting on a bit and, you know...
This was done to make room for the next coaster on this list.
Okay.
Number 2, Dodonpa, once again at Fuji-Q
Sounds
Highland.
good. Sounds
named after
good.
the sound of a traditional Japanese taiko drum. This was one of the first roller coasters designed by American manufacturer S&S Worldwide. Much like Moonsault Scramble, Dodonpa is said to be one of the most forceful roller coasters of all time. This is due to its extremely intense launch that takes riders from 0 to 112 miles per hour.
That's pretty impressive.
Or in less than 2 seconds.
That's pretty impressive.
Has been compared by some enthusiasts to being rammed in the back by a semi-truck. And believe it or not, this ride is even faster today than when it first opened.
Nice.
In 2017, park officials decided to spruce up the ride's layout by replacing its original top hat with an enormous vertical loop. This was reportedly done to make the ride more exciting since maintenance issues forced a trim brake to be installed on said top hat. In order for the trains to complete the loop, the ride speed was increased from 107 miles per hour to 112 miles per hour.
Okay,
this
that's
made
good.
The ride
That's
even
good.
more intense than it already
I'll take
was.
it.
And
I
even
will
some
take
of the
it.
most seasoned coaster enthusiasts are legitimately terrified of it. It often
Why? You get a lovely view of Mount Fuji, and you get to go like crazy speeds on a roller coaster. What is not to love?
ranks as one of the top bucket list coasters for hardcore enthusiasts, and with a launch this bonkers, how can it not be? Before we get to the number 1 spot, here are a few honorable mentions. First and most notable is Ija at Fuji-Q Highland.
That's a strange
an S&S fourth dimension roller coaster. There's no denying this is one insane ride experience, though it isn't really unique to Japan. X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain is essentially the same model.
Of course, it's got to be America. I'm sure there's one like that at either Alton Towers or Thorpe Park. I can't remember. I think it was like brand new when the last time I went, and you're out on the wings kind of thing. I think it's Thorpe Park. Swarm is the name that's coming to my head.
And another S&S fourth dimension coaster exists at China's Dinosaur Park. And though it's an intense ride, it didn't have any notable elements that separated it from the other coasters on this
It does
list.
look quite fun, though.
Nevertheless, it's an ultra intense fourth dimension ride experience that makes it absolutely worth noting. Next is the new Wild Mouse at Misaki Park.
Aww.
This strange Hopkins Wild Mouse takes guests on a slow, winding course with wonky looking turns and tiny airtime hills. It certainly is strange, but it's not really unique
Just
enough
strange.
to make the list. Finally is Jet Coaster at Rakuten
Jet
Tenchi.
Coaster.
While it's currently a standard family coaster, it was something much more...
So, why is it on the list at number 1 if it's just a standard family coaster? But it used to be something much better.
bizarre last year. In 2017, the park was briefly rethemed to a quote-unquote spa amusement park. This 3-day event was done to celebrate the success of a viral promotional video where jet coasters' trains were literally turned into bubble baths. For 3 days, the coaster publicly operated with the trains filled with bubbles. The result was a comically strange ride experience, though this was merely a temporary...
Yeah, but that's not something that's... I don't think it should make the list because I think that happened for 3 days.
promotional stunt. It was an extremely memorable one. Number 1, Steel Dragon.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That wasn't number 1. I thought that was number 1. My bad. Sorry.
Dragon 2000 at Nagashima Spa Land. Built to celebrate the year of the
That
dragon,
looks nice.
This massive, intimidating beast of a ride is the only non-launched Giga Coaster outside of North America. For those of you who don't know, a Giga Coaster is classified as a full-circuit roller coaster over 300 feet tall but less than 400 feet. At the time of its
Sounds good.
opening, it was the tallest and fastest full-circuit roller coaster on Earth, with a top height of 318 feet and a top speed of 95 miles per hour.
Wow.
Though these records have since been surpassed, it still holds the record
I thought it was going to say, since been surpassed by this roller coaster in America. But no, thankfully they didn't.
for the longest roller coaster on Earth, with a total track length of
It looks
over
pretty good.
8,000 feet
I
long.
quite like
While
that one.
Giga
How long
coasters
is
are
it, though?
typically built by Swiss manufacturers Intamin and B&M. This ride was actually made by American manufacturer Morgan, and is the only Giga coaster they've ever built. In order to protect the coaster from Japan's earthquakes, much more steel was used on the ride's structure than other
Good.
Morgan coasters,
Good.
making the
That's the last thing you want to be on a roller coaster during an earthquake.
supports much thicker and sturdier. The need for more steel ballooned the coaster's cost to a whopping $52 million, making it the most expensive non-Disney roller coaster of all time. As for the ride itself, the layout features a plethora of massive airtime hills and enormous banks.
It's like almost the size of the whole park, isn't it? It's crazy. That is huge. I want to go. Who wants to sponsor me to go to Japan? And like, I'll take a photo of me by the thing going, and thank you.
Turns. Though its original Morgan trains allegedly made this a rough ride, the coaster recently got new trains from
they're nice looking,
making it significantly smoother and a lot more open feeling. It's a unique and memorable Giga Coaster experience, and one you can't
Those are
miss
crazy
out on
seats,
if you visit
actually.
Japan.
There's like no sides or anything. That's quite weird. Scary.
Before I wrap things up, I'd like to
Right, was that the 10 roller coasters? Let me see what else is, just double check. So they were the 10 crazy roller coasters, and just there. Look how big that roller coaster is. It's higher than the Ferris wheel. It's as long as the whole park. That is crazy. That is crazy. But anyway, that was a video by Theme Park Crazy. So I guess they know their stuff, because there's a whole channel about theme park stuff, really. And if you did like their video, I will leave a link down in the description, and you can pop over and give it a little like. But if you did like my video, you can do the same. Also, let me know which ones of those rides you were like, I will definitely ride on them. And if you know any other rides out in Japan that you would say are better, because let's face it, this video is 4 years old, so there might be new stuff opened, you know, which I don't know about. Let me know down in the comments, and I will check those out as well. But thank you so much for making it through to the end of my video, and if you want to see more of my journey to discover everything I can about Japan, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But until next time, just be nice to people. Bye!